Hi guys, I am on my oil painting journey this year. I have talked about this a lot, but if you're new, I'm trying to learn oil painting. I have experience sporadically, and I have a few different techniques and processes that I want to try out so that I can try to find what's the right fit for me, the right oil painting approach, because there are so many techniques and ways that you can use oil paints. So this painting, this was my small step in, hopefully I think, the right direction. So for years, I have created art with this like rush mindset, almost quantity over quality, and I hate that. I hate that I'm here now. So when I work on a piece, or at least I have in the past, I feel this intense rush to finish it, to complete it. I almost feel impatient when I'm working on it to get to the end so that it can be done and I can deliver it out and show people and then move on to the next one. And I want to be able to slow down. I want to enjoy the process while I'm painting. And I also want to give myself space to look at a piece and see something that might be more challenging or time consuming and do it. I want to be able to actually go down those routes. I've found a lot in the past. I'll look at the pieces as I'm working on them and think, oh, an interesting texture or pattern right here would look so interesting and cool. And then I wouldn't do it because I felt like it would add too much time to the painting. And I'm excited to just be excited about making art again. And to be clear, I am definitely at that point where I feel this drive to enjoy art. So that very long preamble aside, this piece, this was the piece that I decided the quote unquote technique, or the change that I was going to make, is that I was going to cut out all of my fast drying techniques. So I think every single painting, oil painting that I've done before this has been relying heavily on fast drying mediums and paints. So I had a walnut oil alkyd mix. I don't remember exactly what it's called, but it's from Mgram, and it worked beautifully. But it dries the paint very, very quickly. And then I also had a titanium white that had that same alkyd component in it. It was also Mgram, and it also dried very fast. So any mixture of paint that used white, I would use that white, and then I also use that medium to thin out my paints. So it dried really fast. Essentially, I could paint something and then paint it the next day right on top of that layer, and it would be touch dry. And it meant that within that same day, I could even just step away for like an hour, and I would come back to the piece and that area would be tacky and no longer workable. And the paint on my palettes would be a sticky, gummy mess, and I couldn't use that anymore either. So there were a lot of negatives to that approach. It also really just kept me in that same churning mindset of get it done, get it dry, paint it again. And yeah, I want to be able to master some of the techniques that come with oil painting, the blending and the blending essentially. And I want to be able to preserve the paint on my palette. That's another thing. Like, I've been watching artists that they make their mixture and then they leave this big pile on their palette that they can use for days, sometimes even weeks. And I was jealous. I am jealous. I'm tired of scraping away and wasting all this paint. So I switched from my alkyd walnut oil to a plain walnut oil, and I switched from my alkyd white that I was using, the titanium white, and I went to other tubes that I have that are actually pretty slow drying. And it made a massive difference. I will definitely say that. It made a huge difference to the way that I approached it, to the way that I could think about mixing colors. That was a big thing. I loved the process of this piece. It felt like it just really unlocked a lot of free flowing qualities that I wanted out of my pieces. So I don't know, let's chat about it a little bit. So one of the things that I briefly mentioned that I thought was just really very transformative is that I was able to think about mixing up the colors that I needed in a very different way. I was thinking about mixing up these fuller quantities of paint that I knew I could leave on my palette for days and continue working from it. So it allowed me the freedom to not waste as much time remixing the same paints and then trying to make them match. I could just mix what I needed and put it to the edge of my palette. And it changed the way that I was thinking about what colors to mix and how I was approaching it. I don't know, it made it much more present and in the moment, and that I could get. It allowed me to spend more time getting the paint color exactly correct before I moved on. And it allowed me to be able to step away fully from my pieces. It's such a weird thing to look back on because oil painting, it's kind of built into it. It's what we think of when we think about oil painting, is that it's wet and it stays reworkable for a long time. So theoretically, you should be able to set down your brush and step away and get a tea and come back in the evening and it's still wet and you can just keep on working on it. But it almost felt like other mediums to me, maybe even worse than that in some ways. So it almost felt like once I stepped away from it in some ways felt like I was stepping away from a watercolor wash that was in process. Like I had to make sure it got to a certain stage before I stepped away, or else I couldn't rework it. And it's just, I was able to step away from it and then come back to it and find pockets of time to work on it throughout the day, which was a big deal because if you don't know, I have 2 young kids now. Well, I have since they were born. I have 2 kids and they need my help throughout the day. I'm watching them and I'm finding time to paint. So being able to go down for 6 minutes and then paint some more of the face and then pop back up and know that I can revisit that throughout the day was an absolute game changer. And it seems almost counterintuitive that taking away the fast drying quality, that it would make the process slower, but I actually found that in a lot of ways it made it much faster. It made it so that I could not redo things as much. So let's talk a bit about the process for this piece. So that first color that I had on my panel, that pink, it's actually an acrylic gouache. So I have heard lots of people that they start with an underpainting of acrylic paints. And I have tried that in the past and I hated how slick and plasticky the acrylic underpainting or wash felt. And to be fair, it was probably because I was applying it potentially thicker than I needed to. But this time I thought I would try my acrylic gouache. So essentially it is acrylic paint, but it dries matte. So it has a little bit more of like a dry texture to it. It's less slick. And I have a few of my like absolute favorite colors that are in gouache. I should look them up and I don't remember exactly what they are, but it's this pink color essentially. It's this lavendery pinky color, and I applied that first and then I did the transfer of my sketch, and then I just did a quick fixative spray, a workable fixative, so that it wouldn't smear into the oils. And then I worked on it, and that I think was the dream solution. It was a very fast drying base coat color, and it did have a little bit of that tooth to it, so that the paint, the oils, it just adhered to it in such a beautiful way. I loved it. It just grabbed right onto it. So I think that's the technique that I'll use moving forward. And I knew that pink color was going to be the cornerstone of this whole piece by the end of it. So I know that a lot of artists will start with a base color, that establishing color that they work off of. That color can often be one that's just not at all present in the final piece. And I think I'd like to try that in the future, try one that's just very different. It would provide a different workflow, different benefits, different advantages, and potentially different disadvantages. But for this piece, I knew that was essentially going to be the color of the background, and her skin was going to be a very pinky color, so it was going to be present throughout. And I actually did like that. It helped me to envision where it was going to end up throughout the process a little bit better. And it helped me to make sure that the colors were matched a little bit better as I was working on like her skin and other areas like that. And I have to say, it was so magical painting her hair. So I used I think it's called Chromatic Black. It is Chromatic Black from Gamblin. And it's actually a pretty transparent paint. I wanted her hair to be very gray, like gray silver, a very neutral color. But when I mixed this chromatic black with the white, it actually turned this very like beautiful, soft, sea foamy green color. And what's really interesting is that on my palette, as I mixed it up, it looked pretty neutral. But when I applied it to my actual painting, it became this very soft, beautiful green color. Oh, I loved it. So I know that part of it is this color theory magic going on where the background is pink, so it brings out that contrast in the gray, so that any amount of green that is in the gray is just going to really stand out as green. So I know that it was like enhancing that, but it also unearthed, or I guess exposed, the white. Once it got mixed with that chromatic black, it did show that it had a lot of these green pigments within it. It's really pretty. It just looks so cool in person too. So that was fun to apply it and see that color just kind of come to life out of almost nowhere. Because again, when I mixed it up on my palette, it just looked neutral. It looked like a run-of-the-mill green. And when I first put it onto my painting, I was really enjoying it, but I was thinking, okay, do I need to course correct this? Do I need to bring it back to my original vision? But then I thought, no, I just need to embrace this like subtle magic that's happening with the paints. So I went with it, I kept it, and I love it. It's still one of my favorite details about this piece. And the background, oh, I loved that part. I love that part because it did just like unleash like the painterly side of me, that artistic vision that I have of myself. Like when I think about artists, it's artists that just like apply their paint in this very emotional and expressive way. And I'd like to bring more of that into my pieces. And I think that like the background, the surrounding areas, the shapes that are not the subject, I think that that's the place that I want to put that kind of abstraction in. So I just played so much with the background. I think it's called a paint spreader from Pocatello. So it's essentially just like this silicone, I think it's silicone brush, so that it doesn't have these individual bristles, and it just applies paint in such an interesting way. I love it. It's almost like a spatula or like a palette knife technique, but it's really a very soft brush application. It was so much fun. It was so fun to watch how it caused the paints to mix together and how it spread out like I was spreading butter on the painting. I loved it. I could paint that background over and over again forever. I'm so excited to just play with that kind of technique. And I don't remember who it was. Maybe it was a couple people, but I've seen the sentiment from several artists at this point. The oil painting, to get like that really quintessential oil painting quality, that life and that butteriness, that you need more paint than you think you do. Like you just need to apply more to the panel. And I was thinking that I was working on the background, and that really did transform it, I think. I think if I had like painted it more with the way that I think about how much paint I need, I tend to think more, how much do I need to cover that area rather than how much do I need to just immerse it in this paint. And that led me to mixing much more quantities of each type of paint, and then I ended up using it. I didn't have a lot of waste, and it did transform it. It allowed the paints to apply much more in this like thick buttery quality. It also let a little bit more of like this blending on the panel happen when I was using different values, particularly in the background. So yeah, that helped a lot, and that was something that I continued elsewhere too. So like as I reworked her face, I mixed more than I thought I would need, and then I tried to challenge myself to use more paint than I thought I would need, and I was over and over again happier with the results. So that was a little key moment too that I learned. I was working on this piece, is that I need more paint than I think I do, and it adds to the piece. It adds to the oil painting process. And then finally, I had to paint the edges of the panel. I don't love doing this part. I don't hate the act itself. I hate that I leave one of the more tedious, mundane parts of the painting until the very end, when I'm ready to say that the painting is done and I want to work on the next thing that I have ideas for, but instead I have to do this tedious thing that I have to be careful with so that I don't paint on the front of the piece, and it's kind of messy and fussy, and I tell myself that I'm going to do it first, but then there's always that hesitation that I won't know what the painting exactly will end up, what colors will actually be present, and then I don't want to repaint it again. So that's been my hold up with doing that. I don't know. I probably should still just buckle down and paint it. So I got to that, and I had to seal off the edges. I hadn't done that yet, so I did that, and then I applied my acrylic base that was just a purple, just something to get some color down so I didn't have to be as fussy with the next layer, which was my oil painting layer. So I painted it, realized it was way too purple, wiped off as what I could, and then painted it a little bit pinker, and now I'm happy. And that was it. That was the end of this piece. So she is officially done. I am so excited. So my takeaway for the process for this piece is, yes, I do want to work slower with my oil paints, and I do want to let my oil paints do what they do best, which is stay wet and blendy. So yeah, that was lesson well learned, and I'm very excited about that. So this original painting, she is available at my shop currently, so there is a link down in the description if you'd like to adopt her and give her a new home. As I'm recording this, I haven't actually named her yet, so I don't even know what she's called yet, but there is a link down in the description, and you'll be able to read what the name of this piece is down below. And I am also very excited. I will be launching a limited print run of this piece later in July, so about mid-July. And that's actually my first print that I've had in a while, maybe a year. So stay tuned for that. It will be a special large format print. And that's it for today. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.